Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess, and what a special day it is today as we play e4, of course. Why is it a special day, I hear you ask? Well, it is the first day of the official full-time Will Taylor Chess YouTube endeavor. Over the past couple of months, my activity on this channel has been frankly inexcusable. I'm going to play a Scotch, of course, here. I say that, I'm about to make a couple of pretty good excuses for it. I was finishing my degree, which I secured my first class honours on. So, I mean, my graduation's in about 3 weeks, but, you know, I'm now the proud owner of a Bachelor of Science in mathematics and philosophy. We're going to get a Blumenfeld Scotch to christen the new setup. We've got new HD camera, new, hopefully high quality microphone. We've got some cool lighting going on. We've got a 2-meter long blackboard in the back, which you might see in the future, used for some potentially non-chess related content. But for now, it can act as a decorative piece for the chess content. And of course, we're playing the Blumenfeld Scotch. I mean, this is the opening that if I face someone at chess and I get on the board, I am the most confident I'm going to win. I frankly know this opening like the back of my hand, although I probably know it slightly better than the back of my hand, as I don't know the back of my hand that well. I've invested in equipment that can only be described as overkill. I'm going to be playing Lee chess on a 34-inch monitor. I mean, how unnecessary do you get? Well, I've been saving all the money I've made off YouTube over my degree, and you know, I thought it was time to splash out at least a little on the long overdue tech upgrade for this channel. Now, they have 3 options here. They can either go queen to h4, they can go queen to d8, or they can take on b2. Now, I've color-coded this with the universal traffic light system. Queen h4 is the best move. Queen d8 is good, but not amazing, allowing me to get a lot of nice initiative, and queen takes b2 is a little blundersome. Blundersome? Blunderous? Blunderful? Wonderful. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully the audio is good. Hopefully the camera is good. I should also have a scrolling list of the wonderful patrons who are a big part of supporting me, even being able to consider pursuing this whole YouTube thing full time. I mean, my degree is the plan B. Plan A right now is spend a year, see what I can do. If I can make enough to pay my rent and buy some food and maybe afford a gym membership, you can see the tank top here. The only reason I'm wearing this is because it is 35 degrees in London currently. Whoa, my opponent chooses the blue move. We do have another color here on Lee chess. Queen to e5. Okay, I think this is actually a really strong move. It defends this. This is like the 4th move. It's actually pretty annoying and strong, and I should probably do more prep against it. I need to play knight to c3 though, presumably develop, and maybe we're looking to immediately sprint in and start multiply attacking. Sorry, the heat's getting to my head. My vast vocabulary is being pared down immensely. But yeah, this tank top is not just an excuse to show off my absolutely huge bicep, but because I am dying here in the heat. Right, knight f6. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Whoa, the narrative of this video is all over the place. Thank you very much to the patrons. Hopefully the little scrolling thing you guys appreciate. If you want your name there, if you want an exclusive patron-only bonus video every week, go and check it out. Links in the description. It would be a massive help to supporting me in this endeavor. But for now, flipping hell, let me play a move. Okay, I think bishop d3 makes some sense, maybe bishop c4, but I quite like bishop d3 stabilizing this pawn here. I mean, bishop c4, if you take here, I don't know, takes, I'd probably just lose a pawn, right? Bishop d3 may have been necessary. Now, we have these doubled isolated pawns in the center, kind of, you know, by virtue of playing the Blumenfeld, you're gonna get doubled isolated e-pawns, which in general is a massive pawn structural weakness, however, does allow for some open files either side, and in fact necessitates those open files, or semi-open files if we're being more accurate. Now, they do attack my knights, and if I go here, I'm slightly worried that bishop d3 is a bit of a mistake, because takes, you can just pick this up. Oops, that was maybe not my finest moment. What if I do this? You definitely play b5 to stop knight c4 and threaten this fork, and then I move my knight and you do this and you win this. Okay, so it turns out my Blumenfeld Scotch, which I was so confident with, I mean, I seem to have messed up immensely. Here, takes here. I mean, I guess I could just go like queen d2 and try and castle. Right, I guess we're losing a pawn here. I guess it's a pawn that I don't particularly care about. It's the backwards doubled isolated e-pawn. However, my opponent has played a line which I'm honestly not familiar with. They've managed to catch me out here, which is rather impressive because I do know this opening very well, but not queen e5. I need to have a little look at that. The finishing of my degree also entails the serious academic pursuit of trying to actually get better at chess, something which I've not done really for the past couple years because I've been, you know, my academic focus has been the very cool maths and philosophy that I was able to do at university. And given that I did that degree for nothing other than the love of the game, and by the love of the game, I mean the love of the maths, I wanted to give at least the majority of my academic focus to that. So now that I'm without such an academic focus, at least for the time being, I might do a master's in like a year or two. Who knows? I mean, if 10,000 of you join the Patreon, I'll fund a master's. There we go. That's a deal. Deal? Shake my hand. Anyway, who knows? Effectively, if you're a fan of this channel, great things are to come because I'll be uploading here, I believe, 4 times a week with the videos, trying to stream quite a lot as well, doing the shorts every day. And we see knight to g4. Okay, now I don't quite get the, oh, I do, you just want to trade the queens. That's the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life. Queen e3, just inbound, no further questions, your honor. Are you serious? If I castle as well, you just play queen e3. Actually, if I castle, you could go for this fork. And I can't castle this way. Maybe that's just a really good move. I mean, it's not, because h3, you know, your response clearly is going to be to trade the queens there. Wait a second, no, it can't be. Because then I take with check, go here, and I think king f2 holds my pawn, and where exactly do you think you're going with that knight? So we can absolutely play h3 here. Nice. Queen e3 not possible, because we can simply take knight here, king f2, holding the pawn as I say, and then every other square that the knight could flee to, attacked by my bold king, is held, and so the knight would in fact be trapped there. So I think my opponent did intend to do that if h3, but maybe now is realizing that actually that does leave their knight stranded. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be the end of the world if they go for it. They could probably then take this pawn as a desperado, and my king kind of sucks. They've got 2 pawns for the knight, but I would definitely be winning there, and I think this is precisely the loss of tempo that we need. Maybe not a loss of tempo, because they have done something vaguely interesting. I could play g4 and lose my queen on the spot. What do you guys think about that? But I do like castling. You can take this. I clearly don't want to trade, so I'd have to take it with my pawn. Don't hate it, really. The open F file. Again, you need to move one of these pawns before you can even move this bishop. If knight here, do you take like this? And I go check, you go here. I don't know, I castle like this. Or I just go here, you take this, and I just castle. That could be kind of fun. I like being active here, but then if this and you take like this, I take here, then this is defended, I guess. Right, you know what? Let's try and get some activity. I'm hoping they take on b2, because I think it would provide an opportunity to castle kingside very aggressively and actively, connect my rooks, which is something that they're, you know, at least 3 moves away from doing. So I'm kind of leaving this pawn here as, in my opinion, a poison pawn, you know, as b2 so often is, to be taken at their peril. By the way, I've also got these very cool glass bottles with, you know, in restaurants where you pop the top and it's like, comes off like this. This is what you're gonna see me drink from in the future, you know, just for your information. Okay, they castle, unfortunately, maturely. I can't do anything like this because I just destabilized this. I do maybe have this check as an idea, and I can't castle this way because the flipping queen. Okay, I can castle like this. You take it with check. I'd have to take it with the pawn. I don't know if I love that. What if I go queen here? What's the idea? Good question. Check, takes here. I don't know, I castle and try and play knight f6 or something. I don't hate this, to be honest, but if you just play h6, what's my move? I mean, check, king here just doesn't work, right? Unless I go here then. You take this, I go check. I don't think that works. I could always drop back if h6 and keep this pressure and maybe tickle the knight, I guess. I think I might do this. It could be dubious because I'm removing a defender from that d3 square, and my opponent can go in here with check at some point, and then after pawn takes, they might be able to nab this and still prevent me from castling in either direction, which, now that I'm thinking about it, is that not just a good idea for them right now? Plausibly, very plausibly. Although, there we go. Okay, perfect. That's all I wanted to see. All I wanted to see was you taking this, because I think now I can castle with tempo. I think that's a useless bit of tempo there that you've spent taking that pawn. I don't think you care about that pawn really, or rather, I guess I don't think you should. I'm gonna castle. We connect the rooks. You can give a check. Maybe this is a stupid argument. I'm just thinking that like knight here, you ever move this, maybe there's e5 and this bishop becomes active. Not if you move it here, you know, and take this actually, I guess. But if here with check, I'll just play king h1, I think. I don't see a reason to kind of put myself here and just walk into potential knight checks or like the queen along this diagonal. On h1, I'm immune to checks. I have the luff to go into if I need to. That has to be stupid. That has to be a bad move. How can that not be a bad move? What? I'm gonna go check, surely. Check here, king goes across, looking for some kind of Anastasia's mate. Here, queen h5, rook here, and then a sack here and a mate. I mean, it seems vaguely interesting, but not that strong. I'm gonna go knight f6. The king has to go here, and then queen f5. I think you should have played d6 there. Queen f5. You don't want to play g6, that sucks. Can I just sort of sneak back into the dark squares? So here, you take my knight, check. Here, do I have like rook f5 or rook f5, let's say? h6, I can take with the queen. Oh wait, hold on, this would be hanging maybe. I think I have rook b1. I trust this. I just trust this move. I trust queen f5. I think I trust that you can't take. Oh, hold on. Is there like a knight here that means they can come back this way and kind of simplify, but they're up some pawns maybe? Knight here. I take with the, not with the rook. I need to not hang this. But let's say knight here and I take with the queen and you take back like this. And I play queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes. I think I'm just down a pawn in an endgame, but I do think I've got better activity. Maybe I play e5, slide across and do something interesting here. You know, bring the other rook in. So I don't hate that, but it is an opportunity for my opponent to simplify here. Wow, they go for g6. Okay, I wasn't expecting that because that's some very weak dark squares. I can go here and I can be tickling both of these. Both of these. I mean, queen g5, what's the problem with that? I don't see one. Unless there's a reason to go like queen here, to go like this, to prevent this being a check, but I just don't particularly think I care. Queen g5, right? Obviously, I should just be vaguely concerned about being in forking range, but this is held a billion times. My knight now sits as a god amongst pieces on f6, deeply buried in that hole there. I mean, c6 has to just have been completely wrong. And maybe they could have taken this knight, by the way. I imagine, possibly, my sacrifice was dubious. But it looked convincing enough, or I don't know, I played it convincingly enough. What? Do I go here? Threat mate in one? How do you defend it? You sack your queen, right? That's like the only way. Then I go here. No, then I go here. This is game. We don't even recapture. This is game, right? Check. Not check. What am I talking about? Sorry, I just vaguely thought about this check as I played this move. This is not only a threat of mate here, but a threat of mate here. It's a fork of two mate threats. They give me the check. I just step across, no? King h1, uncheckable except from to the knight, but then I take... Hold on. I think this being hanging in the end, the fact that this bishop never moved, the fact that the rooks were never connected. Here, I'm going to do this. You can absolutely have that with check. I'm going to go king h2. And you got one more check here. And after g3, I don't see your check. This is a mate threat. This is a mate threat. How do you stop both? And my answer is, I don't believe you do. I think it's mate in one. Give me that, baby. Dubious or not, what a gorgeous way to christen the new setup. I think it's party time, baby. That's actually not... You can't really tell the changing colors. Oh, I guess you can in the reflection of the blackboard. Let's go back to green and analyze this game. Okay, so here we are in the analysis of what actually proved to be a remarkably well-played game by my opponent up until move 18. And then by move 19, it was a forced mate. So I think knight takes here is this blunder, but what else could they have played? Maybe they should have just accepted my sacrifice and actually the lifting of the rook just made no sense. Or like rook b1 first, they could move the queen. I don't know. I imagine my sacrifice was dubious, but -3, okay, to be honest, -3 is the boundary where I start to be like, I really shouldn't let that be -3. If it's -2 or like -1.9, there's an argument that -3 is like the equivalent of just being down a full piece. I wonder how obvious their move was. It probably was just accept my sacrifice and defend. G6 was likely unforgivable. Okay, so I'm going to open up the Masters database here, and we're going to go from the top of the game. I'll scroll down a little for a second just so you can see the theory. So e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4 is of course the scotch. All the Masters are taking. Knight takes, bishop c5, bishop e3, queen f6. This is the classical variation of the scotch. All top moves here. Actually, I believe knight f6 is, yeah, a bit more popular than bishop c5, but this is the classical variation, as you can see here. And then played in only 5% of games, but with a 1% higher win rate in the Masters database. Clearly, we don't care about that. But in the Lichess database, look at that win rate, baby. Nearly 250,000 games, 63% win rate is absolutely ridiculous. The Blumenfeld Scotch is my favorite opening. I might get it tattooed on my forehead. The next move in the classical variation is, generally speaking, c3, just stabilize the knight, etc. But knight b5 is this sideline, the best in accuracy in all of chess. And after takes, our opponent has to find either queen h4 or queen e5, actually a very strong move. It's the 5th most popular move. So as I mentioned, queen here, queen takes here. I'm looking at the Lichess database now. Queen d8 are the top 3 moves. King d8 is another one. And then queen e5 is 10% of the time. So this is kind of the 5th move. I definitely do need to prep more against this. Damn it! Oh my lord, the second I've seen this arrow, queen d5. Okay, so I'm a moron. Queen d5 is the move. I've looked at this before. Some of you who are diehard Will Taylor chess fans might actually be very familiar with this and be like, why is he not remembering this from a previous video? Forgive me, my chess is a little rusty. Queen d5 is the idea here. I just completely forgot about that. Because if queen takes here, we don't actually go in for the fork. We just take like this. We're attacking the knight and we're attacking the fork. And then there's this cool idea that if they save the knight by counter-attacking the fork, we go in for our fork, which by I mean in for our fork, king takes, take the rook, and then allow them to get the fork in. But then when they take this rook, we get to play d6, completely squeeze the bishop, but also bring our knight out via c7, and their knight is just destined to be trapped here, and we're going to be able to take it. Damn it, I can't believe I just forgot that. It's poor behavior. And then the other thing is that, you know, if they don't take the queen here, they can't just leave it here because we're going to trade and take like this. So actually queen b2 becomes very accurate, and there's this crazy freaky line that I need to look into more with bishop c4 and kingside castling and letting them have a rook here, etc., going in for forks. Okay, the Blumenfeld remains undefeated in its beauty and complexity as a sideline of a major opening. I'm just a moron and played knight c3. After that point, I mean, that's the kind of diagnosis as to why this game didn't feel like a smooth Blumenfeld win, because I didn't play the prep. What an idiot. However, we bring the knight back, we lose the pawn proudly, queen d2 is then very strong, h3 noticing the whole queen e3, knight e3, king f2 idea, with the knight then being trapped in that position. So h3, they go back, I get to play knight d5, very interesting. Queen g5 is then the mistake, I should have picked up this pawn. Honestly, didn't even for a second consider it, didn't even cross my mind as a candidate move, just because I was looking at this king and ideas of this and pinning here. That's kind of obvious and maybe a little stupid that I didn't go for it, but queen g5, they take, we castle. Then, c6 actually okay. I go for this inaccurate knight f6 here. Queen f5. Oh my lord, if they'd accepted the sacrifice. Queen f6, king g8, and we have some play here apparently. Not loads of play. I mean, objectively it's bad, but they could have played knight g6 instead of g6 and still been threatening this, which is kind of obvious. However, maybe I save the knight, maybe I push the pawn, maybe there's some interesting stuff here. Maybe we go h4, h5. I'm still liking the attacking ideas. We're down a couple pawns, but it's a nice, interesting, romantic game. If they'd taken king here, then the engine likes king h1. And here apparently they have have to find d6, which I guess makes sense. But if you try and create some room here, apparently I get bishop c4. Oh my lord, you can't take because of the pin here? Wow, that's interesting. You come back over to defend. Rook ab1 now here. Maybe we go like up and over or like to f5. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We just take the knight here. Okay, there were definitely interesting attacking ideas with the sacrifice. It was dubious. The computer finds a way through it, of course. However, there's something about playing a dubious sacrifice that just warms my spirit. They play g6, of course erroneously. Queen g5 now, and then taking here. A mate in 5 by force. Instead, they needed to go king g7 and not let me into h6 here. After king g7 though, check. They go here. Of course, they lose to this, this, and this. So they have to go back like this. And at the very, very least, I have a draw here. Clearly not what I want, but it's obviously not a losing position. Instead, they take the bishop. Erroneously, I sneak in. We don't worry about recapturing that bishop. We notice, actually, your bishop never moved, your rooks aren't connected, and that's going to cause a major problem. There are 2 mate threats here. Yes, you can give a check. Yes, I can go across. The knight can come in. I can take here. I can go up. I can block all possible checks, and the only reason it's a mate in 2 is because they can sack their flipping queen. They tried, of course, to sack their flipping queen, but then got mated on f8. Nice. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you're excited to see that this is the beginning of immense consistency from the Will Taylor Chess channel. The Lee Chess rating's looking strong. I want to get established uploading again with just kind of normal videos and just get back into the swing of things. 4 per week, do some normal streams for like a couple weeks or so. And then I'm going to be starting to look at doing some collaborations. There's a few guys that I'm a big fan of that I'm going to get the opportunity to collaborate with soon. I'm sure you guys are familiar with I Want Checkmate on YouTube, and of course Crash, Neander Crash. I'm a big fan of his stuff as well. We'll try and do something funny with a little collaboration perhaps. He's famous for a certain opening. Anyway, I'm also going to be looking into playing some over-the-board FIDE rated stuff, which I'm really inexperienced in. I did it in the first year of my degree, but then the whole YouTube thing started taking off and doing well, and then all the time dedicated towards chess wasn't really dedicated towards playing hours and hours over the board and studying and stuff. It was making content and, you know, entertaining and getting better, but slowly. But over the summer, I'm definitely going to try to get an established FIDE rating just to see how far off the national master title is. I'm sure it's a long way off, but I want to know if it's achievable within kind of a couple years of genuinely dedicated study. I'm in the unbelievably fortunate position where I can spend an unbelievable amount of time playing chess, even though I'm quite bad at it. I mean, YouTube is a wonderful thing. You know what else are wonderful things? Or people, you patrons, thank you so much for supporting the channel. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to see a bonus weekly exclusive Patreon video every Sunday, check it out over on the Patreon, link in the description if you want to have your name in all my videos, etc. But yeah, for now, I hope you enjoyed this one. Many more to come. Thank you guys for being so patient. I'm very excited to see what the next, few months and then year really holds. I don't know, we'll see. Right, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm sweating my face off. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.